Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Bhujanmane Savilas Mahamoha Grahit Grasait Karmani. The entire message of this beginning of the book, the first verse, is that keep aside your identification with the body, mind, thought, feeling, emotions. What happens if we identify the ego comes? What is this ego? It is the false I. Why it is a false I? Because false I, it is because what I believe what I am is not real. And that causes endless suffering. Endless suffering. So the masters have taught that reverence to the Guru. Guru here means the knowledge. Guru means ignorance to knowledge. What is the ignorance? I am the body and the mind, intellect and the thoughts and the feeling and the emotions. They keep on changing. They keep on changing. And it is in the mind that these thoughts keep running, that is responsible for fidgeting, responsible for movement in the body. So the master says begin with the stillness of the body, or the still the mind, or still the body. Both are same from a different point of view. So how we do it, we become aware whether it is still or not. You see that? You have to be aware in the mind to be still. So that is the stillness in the body. But through the mind, you are aware of the mind. Mind says, "Oh, let me grab a glass of water." No, no, no. First, let us practice this. Leave aside. I can take it later. Oh, move it. You are discomfort. No, I'm okay. I have already aligned my body. So you can say it is a somatic awareness when we still the restless mind through the body, and that by which we prepare ourselves to invoke what is already within us. So the S letter first, still the restless mind, I is the invoke. And I explained you, invoking, we have a different meaning, but I simplified it. Invoke means recognition of what is already present. We need not to make any effort. So happiness is already present within, love is already present within, and I'm searching love and peace and happiness outside. That is why I become fully busy. Fully busy causes the ego and identification and attachment, and we miss the session. So invoking means a recognition. But I don't recognize now. That is why we are doing the practice, the silent practice, as an acronym, the invoke. So let the mind feel, be aware, search, not make any effort. Search where the peace is within or happiness within. That process, the mind keeps on moving inside. At the same time, the letter L, let go of the worldly thoughts, feeling, and emotions. So any thought that enters into the mind, let it go. Let it come, let it go. You're not making any effort to control or suppress any thought, feeling, and emotions. You are just as you are. And we have done an acronym SILE, embody. So you can say embody that peace within. When you allow the thoughts pertaining to the world to come and go, you can move deeper into the deeper layer, like the dust and dirt on the mirror, and you are aware of the clean mirror behind that dirt and dust. So, what do? You brush aside. So, if you say you brush aside simply, it makes an effort. No, you are aware. You are focused that your mirror is already clean. And then we can nurture this awareness again and again. Either you nurture by dropping Om Shanti or just returning to the infinite space. And the T letter is that is what we need to teach the mind in a real life situation. Real life situation, anywhere, anytime. In all the relationship, you wake up in the morning, you had a fight with your honey yesterday, and you see the honey today. Mind is ready to reverse, to enter into the stress. Can you nurture and teach again today so that the present and the future will be better? It is your choice. It is your choice. And open your eyes slowly. Majority of us secretly live with a nagging doubt. If consciousness is already present, why do I feel anything but peaceful most of the time? This master is taking us to a higher level. Life looks like waves of stress and anxiety and conflict and emotion, and all wisdom, all teachings about the pure awareness. Only one thing, that I am of the nature of pure consciousness, but I become stressed, I enter into anxiety. It means there is a forgetfulness. Forgetfulness means there is an ignorance. Ignorance leads us to delusion, and we continue to live our life throughout until the end in delusion, suffering, suffering, suffering. This master says there is a one spiritual mistake that keeps us stuck. What is that spiritual mistake? It is misidentification. And what is this misidentification? I'm just making it simpler before I take up the verses. So, misidentification is purely a cognitive error. Cognitive error. I give you an example like a child believing a small cloud has covered the vast sun. Sun is unchanged. The child is asking, you say the sun is so big. and how the small cloud has covered. It's purely a cognitive error. Only the perception is wrong. Are you reflecting? Only the perception is wrong. My perception, no, or your perception that this beard guy is crazy, that perception is wrong. Why? There is nothing wrong in the nature of human being. All human beings are of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Did you get it? So that is why we say don't blame, don't complain, don't react. It is so striking is the claim that there is nothing wrong in our nature, only in perception. You do not need to repair the self. You only need to correct the error of taking the mask, body and mind, as the face, as the real self. I have to shift it. Awakening is like cleaning the lens through which I see. The purpose is not to reach a distant summit, but to see clearly here and now. Take another example. You do not practice to see that the sky is not really blue. You do not practice to see that the waves are not the water. What do? You understand it. So when there is an understanding, there is there is a right perception. So perception reorganizes around that understanding, and the life undergoes a transformation. Are you getting it? I said, you do not practice to see the waves are not really the water. It is. You don't practice. You understand it. Understanding means your awareness. So this does not deny effort, it reframes it. The practice is really repeated contemplation and reflection. I'm taking you to another direction. The practice is really, in this Saturday session, practice is really repeated contemplation and recognition. You had a fight with your honey and face expression, gesture, mind, thoughts, feeling, emotion. You have to repeat contemplation. No, repeat it. Drop it, drop it, drop it. You need not to fight to settle the score. Same way, the world outside. Awakening is not an extraordinary change inside you. Inside you is already there. But yes, there is an extraordinary transformation in your perception, in your awareness, in your understanding. So what happens that the peace flows from inside to outside, that happiness flows from inside to outside, that love flows from inside to outside. When? All the time. Where? In all the locations. That is something extraordinary. Right? It is a clear recognition of unchanging presence behind the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, and thought. Last week we did Understand that intellect is a muscle. You have to train this intellect in discernment. Prevent the drama of the mind. You hurt me. You hurt me. Because you are prone to hurt. You have opened yourself to get hurt. That is why you are hurt. Powerful, practical thing is intellect is a muscle, it is not an IQ. But the capacity to see clearly, to discern what is real and what is false. You left untrained emotions and impulses to run the show. Run the show of the life. There the discernment comes. You left untrained emotions and impulses to run the show. That is why you skip the lesson. That is one thing only. You skip so many things. And when you train it, the intellect quietly separates gold from the ornaments, the unchanging self from the changing experiences, and you stop there. The emphasis shift is, am I training reactivity today or discernment? Am I living in that understanding of discernment, or I'm managing my reaction? My honey said sorry because, so I boosted my ego. Intellect is like a muscle. Without training, emotions run the show, impulses runs the show, habits runs the show. But with reflection and discernment, reactivity is transformed into clarity and wisdom. Think. I'm not saying anything which is very foreign, which is very, you are not able to understand. Mastery isn't about how fast you get there, but how long you stay committed to the continuous flow of awareness free from distraction. No, I've been attending for 5 years. Nothing has happened. Mastery isn't about how fast you get there, but how long you stay committed to the continuous flow of awareness free from distraction inside you. Can you do it for 3 days? Everything is done. I already gave an example of that. So, what is the conclusion? The conclusion this master draws, that even if you don't know, you have invoked, you have a recognition, you started with a belief pending inquiry, live as the self inside, as a person outside. What I said? Live as a self inside, peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom inside you, cognitive understanding, cognitive awareness, as a person outside. You see, that is why, these small things needs to be understood. That is why it is taking a time. Live as the self inside. Now I'm living as a person outside. The waves, the rules, relationships, stories continues as it is. It doesn't mean that once you recognize and you are awakened to yourself, then you say, okay, honey, now I'm no longer husband and wife. The waves, rules, relationships, stories continue, but the attention rests in the in the self. The wave continues, but the attention rests in the water. What is consciousness? Ornaments, thought, emotions identify, appear and disappear, but the value and the reality belong to the gold. Can I hold on my mind? Can I live into that state? We are done. And once you get that awareness, it cannot be reversed. You have full of past impressions and everything is there. You have a habit of getting into reaction. But once that flash is there, it cannot be reversed. It will haunt you until you reach to the final point. I give an example. The sun shining behind the cloud, the sunlight never stops, it only appears hidden. The fundamental spiritual mistake is exactly like this, mistaking the passing cloud of body and the mind for the ever bright sun. Why bright sun? Because I feel, I can move it. Body is conscious, eyes are conscious. Forever bright sun, the true self. We suffer not because the self is lost, but because we mistake what changes for what is eternal. So, cognitive error is there, I told you. Mistake is cognitive, it is misunderstanding, not a flaw in our being. Every human being is wonderful. Those who appreciate me, those who criticize me, those who have continued to join the session, those who have left. As a human being, they all are same. Misidentification is the rule. Correction is through the right knowledge. You have to develop your intellect as a muscle, and then you have to follow the contemplation and reflection during the day while living your life, and the day comes. The freedom is possible because error is only intellectual. It can be seen through. The self remains ever free. Only hidden by, can you complete it? By delusion, by ignorance, by misidentification. Should I tell you any secret of all these great masters? Great masters do not add something new. We have more than 3,000 texts. We don't add something new. We simply remove your confusion. No, I'm ready to divorce, day before yesterday. So I said, you are already separate. What is to divorce? Are you sticking together so that you want to take a divorce? He said, you do not understand. I said, you do not understand. Did you marry this boy at the time of the birth? You were born with your parents and she is born with her parents. So when you got married at the age of 40, okay. So until one day before the marriage, you were unknown. You were already separate. And by marriage, you think that now you have become united. You are still separate. We remove the confusion. So when you see that we are separate, yes, We cannot become one, how long we try. At the physical level, at the marriage level, or at the relationship level, but we are one at the consciousness level. So you as a real self, I am real self as one. So there is no conflict. The conflict remains at the level of what changes. Let it take its own course. After all, there is a rare moment that no, I'm just using in a simple way, so don't. In a couple, when you are married, so either the husband dies first or the wife dies. One has to leave the earth early. So it means we are still separated, the physical level at the mental level. We only remove confusion. We guide the seeker to see the difference between the permanent and the eternal. Freedom begins the moment the seeker realizes. Whereas seeker realizes I am consciousness itself, untouched by the play of the mind. Only one correction: seeing the mistaken identity for what it is. Mistaking a mask for the face, the mind for the self. We live in illusion and delusion and mistaken identity. We need a discernment. We don't need anything. What we have understood until now. So it means I have not to take any thought, feeling, relations for granted. Granted means with impulses, a habit, ignorance, delusion. No, I have to apply the discernment. What relationship I have with my partner? Let me contemplate and reflect. So when you contemplate and reflect, you get rid of all those impulsives. So it means I have to recognize the mistake. How to recognize a mistake? The metaphor works here is the cloud and the sun. So the way I feel I am of the nature of peace and happiness, I have recognized. And now I fight with you. Means what? I have not recognized it. I claim that I have recognized, but I have not recognized it. When I recognize I am of the nature of sun, so I'm a human being, you are also a human being. First, recognize the mistake. Understand the error. That is the second point, the mask in the face. There, that metaphor works. Recognize the mistake, cloud in the sun. Understood. Observe your strongest identification, body, mind, roles. So, as a seeker, we learn suffering arises from misidentification, not from the self. And understand the error. So, principally, error is taking the mask for the face. That is the error. Mask. I am husband, how dare you? I am rich, how dare you? Etc., etc., long list. I am smarter than you. So I have to reflect on how I identify with the changing aspect, mask in the face. The true self is not affected by the changing circumstances. Before I say you anything, let me check whether I am speaking, thinking from that standpoint of water or the real face of consciousness. Third step, you apply the discernment. So what is the discernment? So here I use the metaphor sculpture. A rough stone is there and the sculpture carves. So when you look at when you look at any person, including the politician, including anyone, So you are carving. You see the same real self in all. That is discernment. Use the discernment. The self is the witness. Then what? Then realize the self. Metaphor, ocean in the wave. Every metaphor has certain limitation. That is why we have to use different. And live as the self, gold and the ornament. Golden earring, golden necklace. Fact is gold. No, it is different. So, okay, let me take the gold out. Where is the necklace? Where is the gold? So, I have to live as the self. See that? Do you see that? See that these steps all demands contemplation and reflection, nothing else. I recognize the mistake, cloud in the sun. I understand the error, the mask in the face. I apply the discernment, it is the sculpture. Remove. Realize the self, the ocean in the wave. Live as a self, gold and the ornament. It is done. So this master is stressing the core spiritual problem or core problem of suffering is ignorance, a wrong idea. What is that ignorance? Wrong idea, wrong thought, which I identify with myself. What is that? You are wrong, I tell you. You are 100% wrong. So I'm identifying with the thought. You drop it where you, then what is the problem with you? Ignorance shows up the misidentification. I have been telling problem is intellectual. No amount of outer chains can solve it. No amount. I told you what contemplation and reflection. This master is stressing contemplation and reflection is required. And when you value this knowledge of Eastern wisdom, you recognize as clouds can never stain the sun, ignorance can never stain the self. It only veils my seeing, my perception, my understanding. Question is, am I willing, even for a moment? If I am willing, then ask, without this label, do I still exist as one who is aware? Remove all the labels and see. All the labels from the outer to the label and find out, do you still exist? Yes, I still exist as an awareness, as a pure consciousness. What a great, what a great revelation our masters make. See that. What a great revelation. Fundamental issue is not a moral failure, not ethical, but a misunderstanding of who I really am. So, first there is the misunderstanding. Why? So, on one side there is a misunderstanding, and secondly, you, because you identify with the body, mind, emotions, roles. So now the problem is aggravating. It is increasing because the problem is cognitive. No amount of outer change, success, relationship, and achievement can fully solve it. The correction comes through the right knowledge and discernment clearly. You have to see clearly what you are and what you are not. Even after 20 years of the marriage, I'm not happy. You are identifying with the marriage. 20 years. You are responsible for it because are you thought that marriage is a certification of happiness. In America we at every level we have accreditation, accreditation or certification. so so we thought that marriage is also a certification of happiness and love. I will be always full of love so that I will glued sticking to my honey. The honey will be worried, that this guy is crazy. Because the problem is cognitive, no amount of outer change. The correction comes through the content. That is why we say three principles: listening and learning from the teacher as it is. You accept as it is. Belief. Pending inquiry, contemplation, and reflection. Followed by your practice in the knowledge. We are practicing the cognitive understanding. I'm using a wrong phrase for right reason, and then you feel that I'm there. The master is asking, have you ever have you ever contemplated and reflected who is this I in you? And why this I, capital I, gets glued to different situations, locations, people, relationships, including my body, my mind, my emotion. You have not taken care of my emotion. I am very sensitive. Very sensitive. No, you're crazy. You're not sensitive. Because you prove that I am this bundle of few emotions, few thoughts, few feelings, which I am carrying forward all the time. You are crazy. David is serious. The think of it, just we are. So, because I'm a bundle of all these few thoughts which I carried forward for last 20, 30, and 40 years, it gives me a hurt all the time. I'm hurt because everything you identify with as me is unstable and changing. Body is changing, career is shifting, relationship move, moods rise and fall, and I think that this bundle is I am. So if I is tied to all of that, you are constantly under threat. If you are the bundle, what I explained you are under the threat all the time. Hey David, hey David, I said you something and you are reacting. Why? Because out of the bundle you are reacting. Are you thinking I'm taking you in a different way? I'm still explaining the verses that he has spoken So before I fight, I have to question who I am. Before the thought says, I am unworthy, I am broken, I am the past, I have to bring the cognitive understanding. Who is the one having this experience? Then I make a statement, I'm unworthy, I'm broken, I'm past, I'm this and I'm that. I told you, Master, do not add any knowledge. They remove your confusion. What is the confusion? You are not the waves of the mind, you are the ocean of awareness in which they rise and fall. Simple. You know how simple? Removing the confusion by the Master. Oh, you are not the waves of the mind. You know, these thoughts that I'm worthy, I'm not worthy. You fought with me and I fought with you. And, you know, we have 20 years of relationship and still we did not find peace in the marriage. Marriage is not a certification of the peace. You are not the waves of the mind. You are the ocean of awareness in which they rise and fall. Finished. Can you challenge this principle? That is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. You cannot challenge it. You challenge your mind because you have a cognitive air and you settle into it. So it means Master is asking us, find out through contemplation and reflection which identity hurts me the most. Which identity hurts me the most? Am I willing, even for the one breath, to stand back and see? You are free. You are free there and then. Do you see that? That is something I experience, not what I am. That is the realization. And once you have a realization of this, you are removing the cognitive error. You are already free. You have removed the confusion. You are already in peace and happiness. Are you getting it? Which identity hurts me the most? Don't talk me about any relationship. For the last 50 years, I'm suffering. Last 50 years of your suffering can be dissolved in a millisecond. This is something I experience, not what I am. This is my experience, and here is I am. That is discernment. You are always free. Think what a great revelation Master is making. This then he comes that this self is the nature of being. Being is the Sat. Sat means the truth. That self is of the nature of the absolute truth, consciousness, and the bliss. It is ever present, unrelated, unchanging. Why you are mistaking the not self, body, mind, senses for the self, causes the suffering. What to do? Remove the cognitive error by discernment and reflection. The light within that never fades. The light within, light of consciousness, people mistake it. Oh, that is what is written in these texts. They pick up the text from the Eastern wisdom. They say they light, and then they start hallucinating. When I will see the light, and they start seeing the light. When you can see the light outside with your eyes open, why you have to see the light inside with eyes closed? Forcing your mind to imagine? So, here, when we use the word light, it is the light of consciousness. It is representing the light of the consciousness within that never fades. We know how clouds seem to hide the sun, but the sun is never really covered. It only appears so from our limited view. In the same way, the real you, the self, is never clouded. Only the mind's ignorance makes it seem lost. Did you understand this? If you say yes, good. If you say no, let us understand. How do I know the sun is hiding behind the cloud? Through the candle? It is still there is a sunlight. Same way, I am conscious. I am conscious of this thought. This thought clouds the pure consciousness. Did you get it? So that is why we say the sun is never clouded. I am conscious of a thought, it means the consciousness is never clouded. I am not able to see the I am as a pure consciousness. That is the only thing that is a cognitive error. So the real self is like the light. It reveals everything, yet needs nothing to reveal itself. We are going deeper. Where I said, it reveals everything, yet needs nothing to reveal itself. When you say I know I am sad, or I see the tree, notice who this I is. This is the pure awareness plus sadness. I am pure awareness plus the tree. I am pure consciousness plus married. Plus means there is a distinction. Here is the plus. I am using the word for discernment, viveka. So I am plus married. Don't misuse the word plus. With the plus size in America, we have lot of words are used differently. I am plus means discernment. Discernment means that I am not married. The real I is not married. At the social level. So when at the social level I'm married, so let me shoulder my responsibilities. The awareness is you. It was there in childhood. You see, when I said I am plus married, I am plus young, I am plus sad, it means I am started at the time of the birth. We started expressing it. I am child, I am young, etc. I am get married. It is all about the plus. So that awareness is me. It was there in childhood, youth, and it remains untouched while everything else changes outside. I get married and I get divorced and etc. etc. The greatest freedom is not changing the world. It is knowing. It is knowing you were never bound by it. You identify with the body and mind. Every day you have ups and downs. Don't I have ups and downs with this relationship to the body and mind? Yes. But separation, ignorance is not there. I am not the body and the mind. Sky never moves, it only contains. So does I am. You see what is the cognitive error? I am very sensitive and touchy. You are crazy. You are not touchy and sensitive. Change your perception. You stop taking everything personally. You act with clarity or not compulsion. You live lighter. You love deeper. And the rest in peace that condition and circumstances cannot touch you. That is what the self is. I have to constantly ask what remains unchanged in me while everything else changes. Session is coming to an end. This is, it finishing, but something that never changes even after this session. We will talk about it before you start discussing today. So remember that we have understood the very nature of the self, and then the next verse, Master says that then why, where is the cycle of seeking in the suffering makes me forget my real nature? That we will take up in our next lesson. So let us start. Who will start the first? Whosoever likes to start the first. Yes, Dennis, let us. Oh, yeah, David. Yeah, David, start. I could see that you are.
Um, Thank you, as always. Gosh, that was um, just really simple how the whole process is. And we go through life and we are constant. It just made me really aware of how much we look for outside that's not really from us. So coming from within, going out is really a powerful tool. If we use that to train our mind, we lower our thoughts coming into our mind because the mind gives up, um, because we don't get attached to those thoughts over time. And the simplicity of it is the awakening, not in the Eastern wisdom sense, but just in the life senses. If you went on a website and you said guaranteed to make you a millionaire, follow these 10 steps, you'd have like millions of subscribers all over the place. Well, this is the key to success in life that trumps anything. And the reality is that 99.9% of the world doesn't realize it, and we get the benefit of using it. So I guess a lot of gratitude for the journey we're on. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yes, yes. You have to simply understand simple things. First, I have to recognize the mistake. The moment I have anxiety and the suffering, let me recognize the mistake. Instead, what we do, we start working for the treatment. And that treatment is not permanent. Divorce is the treatment, remarriage is the treatment, marriage is the treatment. Who feels lonely? Think. So I have to get rid of all these movements of the thoughts, identification, and then the life changes. Wonderful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Um, yeah, this I am and I know it is extremely important. And then plus the labels that we don't choose, and some of them we don't, like grandma. I am.
Yes.
Plus I'm grandma. A lot of the labels and roles we choose. And so I think that when I come from I am, and I choose a partner, or I choose a career, or I choose to teach, I do that with all my being, not with my ego,
Yeah.
not with expectation, not with judge it with just all my presence. And so that makes all those relationships rich, and it doesn't sabotage them in any way. If we show up to be fulfilled, to be completed, to be pleasured, to have our ego to feel more important, then we're always going to be let down. We're always going to suffer. And that doesn't happen when we truly know I am. And then I choose how I show up. And it's interesting because it takes a tremendous amount of work until we know I am. Because otherwise we forget, we get lazy, complacent, start to blame, start to feel like, well, we don't have enough. So,
yes,
thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. Even if that is one approach to see that who I am, and the other approach, the moment any anxiety, duality, conflict enters into our head, we have to question it. We have, before we manage it. So 99% of these issues dissolves by itself in the power of discernment. Why I'm fighting? Why I'm saying that I will divorce you? Why I'm saying that I will teach you a lesson? I don't question. Why? Because impulsive nature, constantly living into that ignorance. Beautifully said. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the question. And my takeaway is uh, it is not this world that is wrong. It is not the circumstances or the situation or the people around me that are wrong. It is only my perception that is wrong. It seems so easy and logical to understand, but to recognize this in the everyday life is a challenge because the mind continues to identify with the body, and whatever is unpleasant for the body, the mind perceives as wrong. And when we blindly believe the mind, we identify with the body or the feeling or actions or our thoughts, we start suffering because of the unpleasant experiences, forgetting that unpleasant experiences are there not to upset us, but to provide physical survival of the body. And to fix this error in perception, we are blessed with the ability to discern. We can stop the mind when it makes this cognitive error. We can recall the truth that my suffering is due to misidentification and not because of anything or anyone outside. And this understanding will not stop the unpleasant experiences, but it disconnects my I-ness from these unpleasant experiences. And I discover the ability to see the space between myself and the suffering. So it doesn't become my suffering.
Beautiful. It looks very easy. And that is why our mind is, which is already impulsive, the mind that lives in ignorance, it's very easy, then I need not to do it. It's very easy to say that peace is my essential nature. Don't you understand that peace is my essential nature? My peace is already gone. That layer of the unconsciousness has to be dropped. The process is same, listening and learning from the teacher, contemplation and reflection, and then consistency has to be there until we reach to a point we find it everything is okay in the life. Even this circumstances, this event has come to me to teach. There is some corresponding ignorance was present. That is why this untoward incident happened in my life. How are you, Samir?
Sir, in the beginning of session, you told one thing that it is important how quickly you get into peace. It is more important that how long you stay in that peace.
Yeah,
I always tell what experience I felt in my life about this meditation, this journey.
yeah,
When I started, used to think that you cannot go into peace. Whatever is the situation, going into peace is impossible. Then my mind shifted to one thing that while doing meditation, I can go into peace. Now I can go into peace while doing meditation.
good.
After sometimes when I kept on contemplating and understanding and doing meditation, I thought that the simple works like doing some slow writing or doing some simple activities, I can go into peace. And now I think that it is totally confirmed in my mind. If I am fighting with someone, then also I can go into peace. It all depends on me that I can fight without getting involved into that fight. And I am in peace and I fight better than what I used to fight before.
Yes, yes. So here, fight better is, at the social,
No,
professional, and
now, sir,
personal.
I speak wise things while fighting. I give reasons for that fight. Now, I don't fight in angry. That it is not that
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
angry and I'm not fighting in a flow. I give that person the reasons that why I'm fighting with you. That this is wrong, this is right. Before I used to be so much angry that no reason used to come in my mind because
Yes,
I became anger. Now I am different from anger. So I know that anger is different and I am different. So how I to deal with that?
beautifully said. You see that everyone's having a different perception. And he always likes to give a very practical, pragmatic examples. Sometimes the situation is there where you have to so-called fighting, but you are fighting with the discernment. Fighting with the discernment that anger is not impulsive, anger is not habitual, anger is not enemy. You are shouting to express the anger to get the things done. So now come to a main point. Eastern wisdom. If someone asks that is anger is bad or good, Eastern wisdom remains silent. You reach to the awakened state, then you can fight. You can be angry. So that anger is I am plus anger to get the things. But when I am angry, I'm totally engaged. I'm totally involved. I'm totally attached. So that is not only harming me, but harming others also. Don't tell my honey. That's what I said. No, no, no. We are not going to have this mirror. You remember? No, no. You already have it. Why we should have two mirrors? After all, you see the same face. It is not that if I buy a mirror which is costing $100, you look more beautiful. But why I want to be more beautiful at the physical level? There are a lot of questions. So when you follow this, and you will find that you are settled into that state of calmness and stillness. Even in extreme violence. How are you, Christina?
Thank you, Girish. Hello, everyone. Um, I have been off track because I have now realized this within this week that I was so attached. I had attachment glasses on, and the attachment was because I experienced something very scary, and it really kind of put me not feeling like myself. And I've been so attached to not feeling like myself because the knowledge, as you said, it will haunt you sometimes if you don't practice. It has been there that I know that I am peace and love and light, but I've been experiencing something different, which was out of my control. And so it's been a really big lesson. And today's lesson, just as always, is exactly on point. So thank you very much. And I'm feeling a lot better.
You have never to miss a lesson. You also analyze and reflect pragmatically, and that is wonderful. So, there is a great, I would say, uh, hope so that you can undergo a transformation. When you recognize that, what the thought, feeling, and emotions I was going through, and that is not what I am. That recognition and that realization changes everything in our life. How can I be young, by reducing my age? Not possible. It is impulsive. It is habitual. It is full of ignorance. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. Yes, Terry. What you have to say?
I'm only to continue contemplation of awareness.
Yes.
If I forget, I still forget.
Anytime, every time you suffer, you have anything, any thought, you are living in calmness, and still remember the step one, recognize the mistake. Cloud in the sun. Just tell, my peace is like a sun, cannot be hidden by any number of clouds, millions of clouds. Step 2, understand the error, the mask in the face. Step number 3, apply discernment. Metaphor of a sculpture. Stone is there, unfinished, and the sculpture makes a great image out of it. Fourth, realize the self, ocean in the wave metaphor, and live as the self, the gold and the ornament. Journey is complete. Is really complete even for Ashok. So you were meditating, so let us share something you want to share. One thing is at least is there. Even if he sleeps, he attends the session.
So thank you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the session. And सर आज मैं मॉर्निंग में ना वो मनोबुद्धि अहंकार चित्तन नाम वो मैं सुन रहा था तो
बदलते रहो। पहले मंगलाचरण शुरू किया, फिर ये करते रहो। पिछले साल से 4-5 बार तुमने कहा कि पहले मैंने ये शुरू किया, फिर ये शुरू किया, फिर ये शुरू किया। एक जगह स्टिक रहना, तब तो लाभ होगा, नहीं तो नहीं होगा। कुछ भी करते रहो, मनोबुद्धारी चित्तानी नाम। So he has come with another issue, and that is very important to discuss also, that we don't stick, we are not consistent. What does it mean by consistency? That you follow the teaching, you are consistent, you repeat the same teaching again and again, you don't look forward for another teaching. You use one mantra and after that you are using second mantra. It is not going to work. It may help you for the time being. Oh, I did this meditation is very good, and that. No, you have to be consistent to one practice. Then only it will work. So 1 week I was excited to go to Australia. Second week I excited to go to Colorado. Third week I went to Hawaii. That is what we are doing. We are just spending time on vacation on these mantras. It will not work. We have to be stick until we reach to a point that now my mind cannot move. It remains still. Then you can do anything. It will have the same experience. But until then, it will not work. It has not worked. But anyhow, you are excited that it is working this week, something will work next week. Please continue. That is all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.